Hello everyone, welcome back to a new episode of the Supply Challenge. This time we're going to be building on the knowledge we've already acquired in the last Harstem hour. And now I want to walk you guys through the build order, give you guys a couple of quick pointers of some key moments. I even made like moments in the replay where I say key moment number 1. Notes for myself. I hope I can still remember what I had in thought there, but we'll see. So yeah, this is a PvT build, 3-gate robo opener, very safe. Gonna allow us to really get a lot of early gateway units against any type of push, but also gets us pretty quick Colossus, good scouting info, good map control. Might be harder on some of the newer maps, but I think there's still definitely a lot of a lot of times where this build is gonna be viable to play. If you're on top of things, even if you're not on top of things, honestly, the build is kind of loose, so should be fine. All right, so we start with a core first, as most of the time these days in PvP seems to be the preferred way. Single worker in gas, you just rally the second one in as you're building the nexus on the low ground. 20 pylons, and open up the production tab, obviously. That would be nice. You get your 21 assimilator as well, so just a very standard 1-gate expand from a core before Nexus, which really has been the standard in PvT for the past few months. We're gonna open up with 2 adepts in this case. You can also open up with Stalker Adept or Adept Stalker. It doesn't really matter too much. Your first 2 gateway units, I like to open up Adept no matter what I open, so my opponent always sees exactly the same thing, and that is 2 adepts. Also, I kind of took that from Trap. It allows some... it allows you to shade behind the mineral line if you get an early kill on the Reaper, or if your opponent opens Marine first or something like that. I just like it. If you don't, that's okay. It's nothing really hinges on having 2 adepts or having an adept and a stalker. You can even open Stalker if you want to. Like I said, nothing hinges on it. Now try to hide your tech in a place where your opponent can't find it, like your main base, or it's harder to find. So Reaper can jump up here and scout it, but he should lose his Reaper if he does that. Adept's in position to kind of prevent that. I like to play Adept straight into Stalker, and then I get a gateway really quite quick. You see, it's before the timing where the warp gate is finishing before the gateway. So a gateway takes 46 seconds. So once you're at 56 out of 100, before that point, your second gateway should have started. That way you're gonna have a fresh warp gate cycle the moment warp gate finishes. Like your gate's gonna turn into a warp gate straight away. These 2 will line up nicely. Your third gateway can be a little bit delayed, and that's usually what I do as well. And notice I'm chrono boosting on the probes here. I'm shading with my adept. I see I have no opponent, which is great. Third gateway goes down. This one really isn't going to be used too much for building units majority of the time. It's just gonna be there for making sure that there's a full wall, and in case of an emergency it's nice to have an extra gateway. You might be able to pop out 2 extra units against like a tank push or something like that. Now I like to build my third pylon in a location where it can spot incoming drops. In this case it's gonna be over here close to my third base, or where I want my third base to go. Then I go back with my probe to build that third base. I chrono boost out my first observer the moment my robotics facility finishes, and after that I'm not going to be chrono boosting any observers anymore. I get up to 3 observers total, and the moment I have a fresh warp gate cycle, I start my stalkers just after my nexus. Now I could have built a 4th pylon over here. Sometimes I even do it before the warp in. I actually prefer that. If you see, it's pretty tight now. I'm almost gonna get supply block. Not quite, or maybe I actually do slightly get supply block. So it's not quite ideal. Now this here really is a, as I like to call it, a key moment. So I throw down my Robo Bay at this point, like 425, 430, something like this, and I scout what my opponent is doing. And depending on what I scout, I'm gonna react. Basically, if I'm seeing like a tank push incoming, I'm gonna be utilizing all my gateways all the time to be building stalkers, zealots, maybe a battery at my third base, maybe even a battery at my natural base. That's basically going to be it. Now, if I see a standard setup, for example, a 111, so a barracks factory starport, also known as the Destiny Cloud Fist build, if I see something like that, and the Terran is going to be going It's like a mine drop, and then you see extra barracks already being added. In that case, I'm just gonna keep these units. Maybe I go up to 4 stalkers, like I warp in 1 more stalker, then I just position them in a way that I can stop the mine drop or whatever type of harassment aggression is coming my way, while getting a forge and a twilight. So you really only want to be building units out of these gateways if you're under an immediate threat of attack. Okay, it's key moment number 1 when you're scouting. Good job, Kevin. Glad you wrote that down. Now, as my opponent is not there, I'm assuming he is he's doing like some harass. Usually it's like a medevac with a triple mine drop or a liberator or a banshee, whatever. It doesn't really matter. So I'm just gonna get my forge and my twilight, my follow-up. I get my follow-up going. I warp in a zealot because they don't cost gas. Now, as you can see, I'm also not chrono boosting workers at this point. I'm not chrono boosting workers only if my opponent doesn't have a 3rd CC. If my opponent has a 3rd CC, I'm chrono boosting these workers like my dear life depends on it. But in this case, my dear life doesn't depend on it, so I'm not chrono boosting. You see I have a couple queued up. Nice micro, or nice macro. And I'm going to be using all my chrono boost in Colossus and in upgrades, as that's more important. If I'm playing against the 3-Rex, the most important thing against the 3-Rex is stopping the first timing successfully. So that's what my main focus is going to be on. I'm also going to be checking, it's like, hey, what key moment 2? Yeah, key moment 2 is, I'm checking, hey, what is his attack going to be like? Is it going to be with Tank Raven? Is it going to be with, I don't like, maybe a Mine Raven, or just a pure medevac Marine attack or Marine medevac tank? Whatever it is, you want to know, and you might want to change it up. So if it's just pure Mine Marine and there's not going to be any tanks, I actually like to get Blink. I prefer that over Charge. For any other scenario these days, I like to get Charge, and also I think I might have said that I like to get armor if I get Charge, but these days I've noticed that I actually prefer getting attack upgrades all the way. So I'm just gonna be getting +2 attack upgrades and get the armor upgrades after that. So it's a little change from what I've said before. I apologize for that, but I also can change my mind. And you know, that is a characteristic of a great leader, someone that can admit when he is wrong. Sadly, I'm lacking all the other characteristics of a great leader, but at least I can admit when I'm wrong. And I'm wrong rather often. It's almost a necessity for me. So you see, a lot of the chrono boost is going to be spent on these upgrades, and my main goal is to be getting 2 Colossi out before the inevitable 630, 640 timing in which 2 medevacs hit. That's gonna be important. So you see, I'm just building probes consistently. I'm never actually stopping building probes until I hit like proper saturation on this base. And I'm adding 3 extra gateways. I'm chrono boosting my charge, I'm chrono boosting this. Now I don't necessarily need to have charge done before my opponent's push hits. You could, if you focus all your chrono boost on charge, rather than split it in between these 3 upgrades, but I do like to have thermal lens. I think that's a very important one. So ideally I chrono boost it 1 more time from here on out. I don't think I do it in this game, but that would be nice. Now, you see, I'm gonna get my 2nd Colossi. I have a battery at my 3rd, and this army should absolutely be plenty. Now it is possible to get a higher supply than this at 630 if you build more probes, but the goal here is to not be chrono boosting probes much and still get this type of supply. So this is going to be kind of the first benchmark, because this is the timing where Terrans can hit you. So what I want you to do is write down 630, 62 workers, 3 observers, 4 zealots, 2 colossi, 2 adepts, 3 stalkers, 2 sentries. 105 supply out of 125, and I have 6 gateways done and 2 more on the way. Okay? And I'm on 4 gas. This is the first real benchmark where you should look at. Now you want to have vision around your bases, and maybe you even want to have an adept over here. Pinging doesn't work. Maybe even have an adept over here, and like a pylon over here to get a little bit of extra vision. Of course, your observers aren't always going to survive all the way to the end, so something you might want to pay attention to as well. Don't want to really refresh them before you get 3 colossi out, but you might want to get 1 or 2 extra observers after that. Now, at this point, after you stop the push, because you've been following my build and your opponents haven't, because there's no Harstem Terran builds, you're gonna be ahead after the 630 mark. So there's two choices you can make. You can either take your gases at this point, throw down Templar Archives, and then go into a fort base, or you can go straight into a fort base and throw down your Templar Archives a little bit later after you get your +2 going. You should have plenty of money for that, and then you're going to be playing a more charged up base style with this fast fort base. That's basically just it, and I wanted to do one more benchmark for this version where you get a lot of units, just to make sure you guys have it correct. I'm just warping in, as you can see, 730. Now this is going to be the next one. We have 141 out of 149 supply. Prism speed is on the way, +2 is on the way, Prism on the way, fort base halfway done, Templar Archives almost done, and we have 63 workers. Why doesn't it show any income? I don't know, but yeah, you should have all 3 of your mineral lines covered at this point. And yeah, that's just basically it. That's the basic thoughts of the build. I don't want to get Blink behind this as well, by the way. It's nice to be able to catch drops every now and again. Then from here on out you can start, after you get your Templars, maybe you can add a second row and start going in Disruptors. So yeah, that's basically TVP with a very easy build to beat everything with. I think I went over a little bit in the Harstem hours and this is the supply challenge. So good luck everyone. I hope you do well. Don't forget to post the results in my Discord. As always, I will say the Discord is in the thing below. It might actually be this time, so good luck, and see you all for the next video. Bye bye. Wait, I had a screen. Subscribe. Nice.